everyone, and welcome to Tag Tuesday. I just thought I would do something a little bit different for this Tag Tuesday. It's a method that I've seen used on various other channels and different types of crafts, and I've seen it done using ribbons, fabrics, paper, lots of different mediums. So I just thought it would be nice to create, and that's paper weaving. So these are two that I've made because I kind of got into it and then just ended up making loads. So these are two that I've already made, and I just wanted to show you how different they can be even with the same background. So this one I've done like a kind of a botanical type of collage on it, and then this one's like a nice sweet butterfly with label. And they can, you know, the background is just really interesting and again very textural, and it's a great way of using up all those little scraps that you might have just thrown away, because you know where I'm like, I can't throw anything away. So yeah, so let's start. I'll show you my process. I'm not going to go through from start to finish. I'm going to show you each process as I go, just because it can take a while. So which side do we want? I want that to be our writing surface, so I'm going to turn it over this way. Now this size will make two nice tags once it's cut, two nice big tags. So I need larger pieces. I don't know if I've got enough larger pieces, to be honest. Maybe I'll use this just to show you. So this is just a piece of packaging paper that I've coffee dyed. It's got a lovely patina on that side. And you just need it to be approximately the size that you want it to be. And so we want some longer pieces. Now these are all just little bits of scrap that I've cut off the edge of pages when I've been cutting them down, or if there's been, I've made some ephemera out of them, there's only been a little bit left, I've cut it down into strips. So there's a variety of different ones, and that's what you want. You want different types of paper, because it just gives it a better effect when you've got a few different types. And you can make these any size. They don't all have to be the same size. In fact, I think it works better when you have different sizes, because it just gives it a nice effect. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay down our strips coming down over, and it's just a case of deciding which ones you want next to each other. I haven't got any of the pink ones that's long, but that's okay. We can use them crossways, and like I said, it's just a case of getting the ones that you want. No, they're not long enough, the pink ones. Let's see, how about this one? Pop that way. And it's a nice relaxing craft, this one. I quite like just sitting doing this. It's another one of those that you could just pop your YouTube on, or your audio books, and just really get lost in it. It's very relaxing. Now I might do one more strip. Let's see, what do we have left? Is that long enough? It'll do. So we've got them all laid that way, and you want to try and get them as straight as possible without them overlaying. Sometimes when you've cut them, they haven't been cut perfect, but that's okay. Like that one is a bit skewy. I'm going to change that out just because it is very skewy. So it's a kind of a case of just finding the straightest ones that you can. So let's move that over a little bit more. There we go, that looks about straight. Now washi tape. I did when I first started doing these, because I've been doing these for quite a while, and using them to make backgrounds for cards back in the day when I used to make cards. I used to use sellotape, but the problem is sellotape's not very kind to the paper. Washi tape will come off for a little bit of encouragement, so I'm going to use this Halloweeny tape. So without moving the strips too much, you just want to put a bit of tape at the top, just to hold them in place. And then it really is a case of just weaving in and out. So you're just going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, and then bring it up to the top and get it as close to the top as you can. That's overlaid just slightly. There we go. And try and keep it as square as you can. It doesn't really matter If it goes slightly wonky or skewy, that's fine, don't worry about that. Now I'm just going to empty what I've got left in here, because I've got some different ones in here and I want to get some interest in the pattern. So for instance, this is some of that paper that I made when I was doing the sewing journal, and it's just got the tissue paper on it, so that makes a different texture, and it's a nice thin piece, and it's even got a little line from the pattern itself. You can do this with book page and have the words all interwoven. That makes another really nice background, which can be really interesting. So it's worth playing with different types of papers, especially if you've got old vintage pages where you've cut the edges off. Don't throw those edges away, because they look quite nice when they're woven like this, and you've got that true vintage paper in there that's got lovely patina on it, and it looks great. And you can see already we're starting to build up a nice little pattern. So let's see, what else do we have? We have let's have another pink one, but let's have a wide pink one. And you just go alternate, so you start off over on one line and you go under on the other, and that way you're creating this kind of paper. And you just keep on going, picking different shades, different widths, different textures, and it's just a fun thing to do. And don't worry if you feel like the papers are coming apart, because it's very easy just to push everything together before you glue it down. So we're going to keep on. Let's find something else. Let's have some of this, because it's got like a pattern on. What's these one? Oh, we've got some dotty. Oh, excuse me, frog in my throat. So we're just going to go in and out, and then push it up. It doesn't have to be really tight. You're going to glue it onto the background anyway, which is going to keep it nice and secure. But the tighter you can get it, the better it looks. You don't want big gaps in it, unless you want big gaps in it. I mean, you know, it's up to you, it's your choice. If that's the aesthetic you're looking for, then go for it. That's the beauty of this, you know. You could have a truly open weave and have like I don't know, maybe there's a patterned paper underneath, so that you're just getting glimpses of the patterned paper poking through the gaps in your weaving, and that'll look really nice too. And one of these, it really is a sweet little thing to do. Sorry if you can hear all that noise. We're having a bit of a windstorm at the minute, so we've got all sorts blowing all over the garden, and unfortunately it's just it's a bit mental at the minute out there. Right, that's a nice wide one, and I like the pattern on that. Yeah, the weather's been atrocious. The other day, could you believe it, June, we're in June, we should be in the height of summer, and we had hailstone. Big hailstones. I mean huge hailstones. It is just absolutely so strange. I mean, I know we have unpredictable weather in the UK, but come on, hailstones in June. What next? Snow in July? Oh crikey, this sure has been. Yeah, there are no words. There are no words. There's some of that nice sewing paper. Yeah, so now we've got a windstorm going on. This is the second one in a month, and we are getting battered with it, because I do live on the coast, so we get the worst of the windstorms. So I am not going to move that little, it's the edge of an image that I've obviously cut off. I'm not going to move it because I want that as a piece of interest, a point of interest I should say. I'm just going to square everything up as much as I can, because I think that'll do. Now the good thing about using the washi tape is this. We're now going to secure this end, so we just need a little bit, and I'm going to secure it once I've made sure everything's squashed in the way it should be. There we are. I'm going to secure it underneath that last piece that we put in, and then that's going to grab those, and I'm going to gently pick it up and pull it back, and then I'm going to use this glue. You could use the glue stick. By the way, somebody asked me what the glue sticks are that I use. They are called Pen and Gear, and I get them from Asda. They're not very expensive. They're pretty good. I know that a lot of people use the Oohoo sticks, but I can't seem to find them around here. So yeah, it's called Pen and Gear. So that's where it is, and it's from Asda, and it is pretty good. But because you've got a lot of texture on this paper, I am going to use the high tack glue, which is, what's the company? I don't know. Impex Groves. I'm assuming that's the name. Anyway. So starting from the top, we're going to cover the back because we want it to grab all the bits of paper. Now, because of the nature of the weaving, it's not going to catch every tiny little bit, but I'm going to show you what we do for that anyway. And because I'm using this glue, it's going to take a while to dry, so I can't cut it. So I've already pre-cut one of the tags so I can show you the next stage. Now just make sure, you know, you put plenty of glue on, because you've got you've got two layers of paper that you want to attach here. And then we're just going to bring this down and give it a good press, and we're going to secure our tape just to keep it all in place. And then just make sure you give everything a good squidge. Now what makes the texture is that these bits that have been woven over, these are not going to be stuck down, so they're actually just held in place by the fact that they're glued on either side, if you get what I mean. Which is quite a nice texture, because when you run your hands across it you can feel it. Now what I would do, I would just quickly check, pulling these up, that you've got enough, take the top off, Eileen, you've got enough glue down this side, because you're going to be cutting this side and you want to make sure it's well secured. There's something else blowing about in the wind. That's pretty good. I'll put just a line down there. I can't stress enough that you need your edges glued down, because otherwise your paper's just going to come apart. So it doesn't matter if you get a little bit of glue over the edge, because you're going to cut that bit off. You just want to make sure that for the purposes of cutting it, it's going to be secure, because otherwise these edges are just going to be lifting up. Now there's our weaving done, so I'm going to put this one aside, and once it's dry, all I'll do is I'll remove the washi tape, or I'll just cut it off. And then you'll just cut the size of the tag that you want. It's already backed onto your backing paper, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you've got a new piece of paper made out of old scraps. And these are, I mean, I'm using these for tags. You could, if you wanted to, if you have the scraps for it, make an entire page to go into your junk journal. And wouldn't that be fun? That would be really fun, because you could even hook things through, you know, little bits of ephemera, and that would be really cool. Maybe we'll do that in another video. Maybe I'll play with that sometime, and we'll see what we can do with an entire page. But at the minute, that's all the scraps I've got left after I've been doing loads of tags. And I'll show you all the others I've done in a minute. Right, so I'm going to put this aside now, and that's just going to dry. So this is the one I made earlier. As you can see, this one I've used, it's pretty much the same size paper. It's just because that's the paper I had. And as you can see, this one, it's not fully to the edge, which I'm not going to bother about, because I kind of like that little effect. That's the coffee dyed paper coming through the back. If you can see, when I coffee dyed this, it went really dark around the edges, which I love that kind of grunge. And it's coming through here, and then I've got this lovely grungy bit down here, so loving it. It feels amazing. Now the last thing that you're going to have to worry about, let me just get this, is your bits poking up. Now as you can see, that bit is slightly not secured, so all we're going to do is just go around and pull these edging bits up and just secure them with a bit of glue. That one's okay, that one's okay, these are all okay because I glued them down, and then this one needs gluing. So it's just a case of getting the ends of the papers and just gluing them down, because once you've cut it they are going to come loose because you're cutting off the edge where you secured them. This one seems secured, that one needs securing. And it, you know, maybe it does take a little bit more time, but it's well worth it. I'm gonna just try and squidge a bit underneath there just to keep that one down. That one's okay, that one's okay, and that one's okay, and we've done that top one, haven't we? Yeah. Okay, so the gluing's all done. So now I'm going to get my tag and I'm just going to cut it into my tag shape. Now I've just secured this, so once I've cut this it might need securing again. That's fine. Just keep going over it until you've got it right. Once you've got all the edges glued down though, the paper's as secure as you could wish it to be. So let's just check. Yep, that needs securing. Take the top off. Eesh. Come on girl, get your memory working. There we are. And then this, yeah, that's going to need a bit more glue. I'm just going to run the glue across the top there. There we are. Now that's all nice and secured and we can start decorating. And isn't that a great background? I'm loving that. Now I have picked out some pieces and I was playing about, and I've used one of my die cuts. Again, this is just a die cut that I've got, and all I do is I just get loads of scrapbooking papers. It's usually scrapbooking paper that I'm not that bothered about, or it might be something that I want specifically cut in that shape. It's a nice way of using up that scrapbook paper where the bigger pattern isn't exactly what you want, so but in a smaller piece it's really nice, and I like this in a smaller piece. The bigger piece wasn't that nice, so that's just one of the things I do. And I just thought maybe because you're gonna blend that kind of grungy, woven together, scraggy kind of texture with this beautiful, elegant cutout. And then I thought we could just stand this gorgeous girl there, and how beautiful is that going to be? I was going to put a label on her, but you know what, I think that the background together with the little centerpiece, I think that's going to work out just perfect. So I didn't realise she had a little piece to pop out. There we go. Right, so another thing about this, whether you're gluing on paper or you're gluing on card, I would still use your tacky glue. And the reason is, but using the glue stick, it's not going to get all the nooks and crannies that you need it to get, because like I said, this is very textural paper. So I would definitely use a glue stick. Not use a glue stick. I'll get there eventually, guys. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I swear really, you know, I don't know who let me loose for a camera. I bet they're regretting it now. Right, so get lots and lots of glue on there. Just give that a gentle press. I don't want to squidge all that glue out. I just want to make sure that the edges are nicely secured. Where's my cloth? There we are. Now that's nicely secured, and even if I haven't caught every little edge, that's fine. This is a textural piece, so that lifting up slightly, it doesn't matter, because the tag as a whole, the piece as a whole is glued down. And now we can just get our lovely dancing girl. I just love these Tim Holtz people, aren't they gorgeous? Especially the little kids. I mean, they're just so sweet with the lovely old clothes and that. And the ribbons in their hair. You just don't see things like that nowadays. Right, a little bit too much glue on her. Give her a nice squidge down. There we go. And that's as much as I want to put on there. I'm quite, because I love this grunge here with the elegant style of the cutout. Yeah, I quite like that. And you can play with colours with this. I've got was green and blue and yellow paper that I coffee dyed, and I've been using it in my journals, but then I had loads of scraps left and I made one, and it was grungy but it was colourful, and I thought that would be great for Easter tags. And then I was thinking, well, what about if we did some darker green and some light red or some nice gold or something like that, and that would make beautiful Christmas tags. And then I thought maybe it's green and orange for Halloween. So you can see you can customize this to whatever it is that you're doing. If you're doing a theme, if you've got a digital pack, you could cut up one of the tear sheets and use that to interweave in with some other papers. If you are doing just a general theme, like I was doing the sewing ones, and I had loads of sewing paper left, so I bunged that in with it, and you can see some of the sewing instructions on them. Unfortunately, there's no room in the sewing journal because it became quite chunky, but you can see here that's one of the images from the sewing journal. So if you wanted to, you could print out some what do they call them, clip art images, and then cut them up into strips, and you're getting the image through. And you know, it's just another way of adding to your theme, but I quite like that. That's going to go into a nice grungy one. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a hole in it, and it's just as simple. You're going through 2 pieces of paper, so, or 3 pieces depending on where you put it, but it's as simple as that. It's not that hard at all. So before I do that, let's put this top on this glue. I'm just going to give it an ink round. Doesn't need it all the way because of that nice grunginess down the bottom. I just want to make sure it's nicely. Now you see that bit might need just a little bit more glue. It's just lifted slightly. I'm just going to put, in fact I might just use my finger and just put the glue on the paper. There we go. Crisis averted. Now I'll just be very careful inking it. There we are. There we go. Great. And don't forget the back. You can see how all that lovely grunge. Oh, I love it. I love the juxtaposition of shabby chic elegance and grunge. It's beautiful. Now we need to choose a ribbon, so let's get me a little jar of ribbons. What colour is she? She's on a pink background. I've got a nice little pink ribbon there actually. I can pull it out. Oh, and everything comes out with it. And actually we've got a nice little, yeah, I like that. Maybe we'll do a double ribbon now. This is just my little jar of scraps and bits of stuff that are too small to put back into the ribbon drawer. So I just keep them in there, little scraps of fabric. Comes in handy for when you're making your little clusters, or when you need to a tab for the top of a card, or a piece of or a tag or a piece of ephemera. I'm just going to chop that bit off. Let's see. Let's undo this. Now a lot of these, you'll laugh when I tell you this, but my mum, since I told her that I was like collecting ribbons and bits of stuff, every single time she gets something that's got a bit of ribbon on, she keeps it in a bag. And every couple of weeks I go over and there's another bag for me. And you know what? I love it because look at that. That's just come off the top of a tag from some clothing. But isn't that beautiful? And instead of going in the bin, it's now going to have a new life on this lovely tag. So let's just cut this. That's what I like about junk journaling. You know, it's a good way of leading a more recyclable life and appreciating everything that you get, even if it's just a little bag of ribbons off your mum. Because with that bag of ribbons you can make some beautiful things. But it's great. I'll just pull that. Don't want to pull it too much because I don't want to rip the paper, and then just splay that out. And there we are, we've got our lovely tag. So it's as simple as that. It's a lovely craft. It's pretty quick to do, and it's a great way of using up lots and lots of little scraps that would normally have gone into the bin. You know me, I refuse to put anything in the bin. If there's any possible way to use it, I will use it. And I just like that. I like collecting things that would normally end up in the bin and then making something absolutely gorgeous out of them. So I'll show you a couple of the others that I've done. So that one I've shown you already, in the butterfly, but I did an autumn themed one. Well, actually, it's that I'm doing a naturalist journal next, which is like a nature journal. So I'll put this on because it reminds me of when they used to take the little samples of things, or they would draw a picture in the diary and then they would put the date on it and specimen whatever. And then this was the one just using a nice little piece of ephemera. So you can see these can be very versatile. They can be turned into any kind of theme. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll give it a go and save all your scraps, because you can turn them into these beautiful tags, and isn't that wonderful? So stay safe, everybody. Stay happy. It's hard at the minute with everything going on with COVID and all the unrest, but please remember your happy place. If that's your craft room, then come craft along with me and we'll stay happy together. So stay happy. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you did enjoy this, please drop a like. It all helps. And stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.